All right, now I know we're eager to add all the icons into our habit adder and make this into a icon chooser, but I first want to set up the layout of our entire app inside of the Dopamine Box tag. And we're going to add a really fluid layout with the habit adder expanding up and hiding away with an animation. And this will be real easy to set up. Okay, so I'm going to add in a few HTML tags. I'm going to put div.container, and inside of there I'm going to put a div with a class of panel area, and I'll put habit group inside of there. And I'll put this div.controls that we already have also inside of panel area. Okay, after panel area, I'm going to have div.chooser area. And inside of there, I'm going to have a div.chooser. And inside of there, the habit adder. Okay, so let's save that. Not much has changed, but I have some CSS that I wrote ahead of time, which I'm going to paste in, replacing our existing CSS. Actually, I first have some global CSS that we can add here, which defines a bunch of CSS variables and sets a body background color. And then for the CSS directly on habit area, I'll paste that in there. And I made a little mistake here. This was supposed to be indented inside of container. All right, that's what I was expecting to see. Now we've lost our habit adder, right? It's gone. Let's look at the CSS here. We can see chooser area, which goes around habit adder, has a height of 0 and overflow hidden. So its height is 0 and overflow hidden means you can't see anything inside of it. But check this out, right below there, there's something that says if it has a class of on, then its height is 100%. So let's try adding a class of on to chooser area. And now we see our habit adder pop up from the bottom. And I notice the panel area is kind of crashing into the top. Let's add a padding top of panel-space. That's a CSS variable that I added. And that looks nice. Okay, so we've got this drawer that can be shown or hidden where we're going to have our icons in our habit adder. And I want to hook this up so that we can actually toggle it. We can hide it and show it. And doing that is as easy as adding or removing this on class, which we have right here. But we're going to need some sort of a button that's going to toggle it. I think we don't actually really need this complete all button in our final product. So let's replace that and we'll use it as a button that will show and hide the habit adder. Now I want you to set this all up, so I'm going to make it a challenge. Okay, so I've wrote out the steps that you'll need to take to hook this up. First, add a new prop on the Dopamine Box tag called show adder and set it to false. So you can add that prop maybe right above this challenge prompt or below it. Then replace the complete all button or modify it to become a toggle button. So make the label be toggle. And then add an event handler that would actually toggle the show adder value. So you could make an inline event handler, or you could make a method that handles that event. And it should just flip the value of show adder from true to false or false to true. And then last, you're going to conditionally apply this on class. So remember, any class name, you can set it equal to a Boolean value. And we're going to set it equal to show adder, which means that we'll be conditionally applying on, which should show and hide the drawer. So go ahead and try setting that all up, and then I'll show you how to do it. Okay, so the first step was to add a prop called show adder, set to false. Then we're going to replace the complete all button and make it a toggle button. And instead of complete all, this is going to be toggle adder. Okay, that'll be the name of a method that I'll define here. And let me find where we have complete all. We're not going to need that anymore, so I'm going to delete it. And I'll say def toggle adder, which will take the show adder prop and set it equal to not show adder. And the last step was to conditionally apply this on class. So we can say .on equals show adder. So if show adder is false, which it currently is, this class will not be there, which means that the height of chooser area, according to the CSS rule, will be 0. But if we click toggle, that value should become true, and that should apply this class, and that should make the height be 100%. Let's try it. Cool, and you can see it has a nice animation. Now I'm going to move the show adder prop up here to the top so we can kind of keep our props together. And we now have a nice template in our Dopamine Box tag that defines the major areas of our app and allows us to do this nice animation. And we have these specific tags for the different functionality within them. Also, we're kind of collecting all of our methods that modify the data inside of Dopamine Box, and we'll continue with that. But now we're ready to go in and set up our actual habit adder with the icons, which we'll do in the next lesson. Oh, and before I forget, These buttons have the wrong CSS, don't they? They should be more like little links. There we go.